It's the Paradise Podcast.
I am your host, Ryan Michelle Bethay, with my husband, Sterling.
What's up?
Join us here on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus, where we'll discuss each episode with the cast and crew of Paradise. I'll be getting all the secrets from Dan Fogelman, James Marsden, Shailene Woodley, Julianne Nicholson, and Sterling Kelby Brown. Woo! Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming.
And stream Paradise on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus.
When you move outside of New York, this guy's my guy. He's the best. In Ohio, doing a tremendous job in Congress every day, and on this show quite a bit because we love him. Jim Jordan. Jim, good Tuesday morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing fine, so good to be with you, man.
Nice to have you back. You know, it's I know that we all talked about the same thing right after the shooting Saturday night about the rhetoric coming from the left, and a lot of us talked about on Sunday morning. I saw you with Maria and others. Well, we gotta calm it down. Look, do you realize in the last couple of days that Jimmy Kimmel, he's not a politician, but he's a lunatic lefty, doubled down on a bad assassination joke. You had Hakeem Jeffries, your friend in Congress, talking about warfare again. You had James Carville, who speaks for almost all the Democrats, came out yesterday and said, I don't want somebody to shoot President Trump. I want him to suffer. So what are we talking about? They're not going to lower the temperature. They hate us, Jim Jordan. That's the bottom line.
Well, and it's been, just got to look at the facts. 3 assassination attempts in 10 years. 10 years of nonstop attacks on the president. The things they've said, the weaponization of the government against him, the whole thing where they laundered the information from the Clinton campaign, turned it into the fancy dossier, which was all garbage, and used that as the basis to spy on President Trump's campaign. I mean, so it's just been a 10-year nonstop every single day, the media, the Democrats, the left, you name it. And then, I said this on Maria Sunday, I don't think it should be lost on anyone that the same week that we have the 3rd assassination attempt on President Trump is the week we find out the Southern Poverty Law Center was running a scam, and they were actually paying to promote the hate that they said they were supposedly fighting. And to the tune of $3 million over the last 8 years. And they put themselves out as the standard for evaluating what groups were hate groups and extremist groups. Moms for Liberty is an extremist group, they said. And the Biden Justice Department used the Southern Poverty Law Center as a way to train some of their prosecutors. And they were running a scam, and they were promoting the very thing they said they were opposing, dividing this country over the last several years. I think that's something that's part of this equation as well.
I agree, and I was fascinated watching you tell Maria about that. I never missed Maria's show on Sunday. Man, I knew about the SPLC story, and I followed it. The $3 million might be a resist. You do such great work and great investigations, and even you and Comer going back to the Biden stuff, which for years we heard about just how corrupt the Biden family is, and I believe they were. But there were no real repercussions. Yeah. Tell me what you think is going to happen here with SPLC.
Well, they've been charged with real crimes, and we're going to continue our investigation. And God bless Attorney General Blanche and what he's doing. There's this indictment. They are also looking at, when we think about the hard left, and it looks like they may have been taking foreign donations through Act Blue. There's an investigation going on there, both in Congress and at the Justice Department. There's this investigation into John Brennan and others. We did a criminal referral from our committee to the Justice Department for Mr. Brennan because we know he lied to us under oath in a deposition. They're looking at this broader conspiracy over the last decade of folks in the Obama White House and people on the left who were conspiring to undermine President Trump. So all those things are happening. But I do get the frustration because I hear it all the time as I travel around the country helping our candidates and colleagues. People always say, when's someone going to be held accountable? Sometimes they're more direct. They go, Jordan, when is someone going to jail? And all I can say is the Justice Department has to do that. We can just do our oversight.
I get that frustration, too, and I believe that's part of the reason why Todd Blanche is there and not Pam Bondi. I like Pam, but, you mentioned Brennan and Comey. These are all terrible people. They should be in jail. I did mention the Biden corruption scandal. Is that over? Are you guys still doing some of that still?
No, that is largely over. We dug into that. We thought we exposed all kinds of I think behavior that was just wrong, particularly when it came to Hunter Biden's dealings with this Ukrainian energy company Burisma. He sat on the board and got paid all kinds of money and really didn't do anything. He said so himself. He wasn't qualified. He got the job because his last name was Biden. So we looked into all that, and particularly the actions of the vice president, then Vice President Biden. But, yeah, I think that's largely went away. I think people remember it, and there's all kinds of reasons why Joe Biden didn't run for president. I think that was part of it. But, we're focused on Act Blue. We're focused on the Southern Poverty Law Center as our two key investigations right now.
And those are two really important major investigations. So kudos to you. This is the amazing Congressman Jim Jordan joining me live on this Tuesday morning. Jim, what are we going to do with Hakeem? I know that, the Democrats, for some reason, they're very confident they're going to take back the House come November. And if, God forbid, that happens, all of a sudden, this lunatic becomes the majority speaker. This guy doubled down on warfare yesterday. What are we going to do with this guy?
Well, we got to just win this election. And it's not going to be easy, but, there in your area, you rattled off all the good members of Congress from up there with Garbarino, Lolota, Lawler, Nicole Maliotakis, all those good folks who got to make sure they come back. We got other races around the country that are in marginal tight seats, and we got to help them. And then we got to make sure we've had a significant number of retirements and members running for higher office. We got to make sure we win those. So the key is this midterm election. And I think I said this the other day. I think this midterm election comes down to two sentences. They're crazy, we're not, and point out all the positions that the left, not all Democrats are crazy, but the left that controls their party is. And you can run down through the positions on it's crazy to defund police, crazy to defund ICE, crazy to have an open border for 4 years, which is what we had under Biden, crazy to say men should compete against women in sports, crazy to shut down the government for 42 days in the fall, 70-some days and counting in the spring. Crazy to say you shouldn't have an ID to vote. I mean, just all their positions. And I think we have to just let the voters know if you put Democrats in charge, the left, which controls their party, is going to want to go back to all those positions and not cut taxes and secure the border like we've done this Congress.
Well, you just ran it down. And any sane person listening to you literally in that 15 seconds, Jim, would say, I have to vote Republican. You mentioned shutting down the government twice. Like you said, 40-plus days in the fall, 70-plus days now. I mean, all these people that are so critical of Secret Service for Saturday night, and they made some mistakes, there's no question. But to me, the bigger issue was the venue, not our men and women. And the truth is, these poor folks, they haven't been paid in 70-plus days. So instead of kicking them in the teeth this morning, how about solving this DHS issue and paying these brave folks?
Great point. Why not? Maybe a good thing to do would be to pay the guys doing the job to make sure DHS is funded instead of playing this game. But think about what the Democrats did specifically with ICE. They said, so for 4 years, they said, we're going to let in 10 million illegal migrants. Then they create these sanctuary jurisdictions all over the country, which makes it difficult to remove any of those illegal migrants who commit other crimes. And then they say, oh, we're not going to pay the guys who do the removing. We're not going to pay ICE. Such a deal. I mean, that's what they did. And it's somehow like that's the position of your party. Let in 10 million, create sanctuary jurisdictions that represent about a third of the country. 18 cities, 11 states, 3 counties in the District of Columbia are sanctuary jurisdictions, but they're big blue cities, big blue states. So it's about a third of the country live in a sanctuary jurisdiction where if an illegal migrant commits another crime, they tell local law enforcement not to work with federal law enforcement when you're enforcing federal law, for goodness sake.
Right.
So they create that, and then they say, let's not fund the guys who actually do the enforcing. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but that is their stated position and why they've shut the government down for 70-some days.
You know, this redistricting story is a big one here, too. You mentioned Nicole Maliotakis. We both did, and she had a very big Supreme Court victory here in New York. But it's a big story today, Jim, what they're doing in Virginia, and contrastly what they're doing in the states that I love, Jim Abbott's state of Texas and Ron DeSantis' state of Florida. What are your thoughts on all these redistricting moves?
Yeah, I think the most egregious one was the one in Virginia. I mean, they took a state that's pretty, in our lingo, pretty purple, and it's a 6-5 right now, 6 Democrats, 5 Republicans in the congressional delegation. And the way they drew it, it looks like it's going to potentially be a 10-1. Think about the whole state of Virginia just having one Republican congressman. It's like, so I think that's the most egregious. That's being challenged in court. We'll see what happens in Florida. Governor DeSantis came out with a The folks in Florida came out with a new map yesterday. We'll see. I think it doesn't change the fact that this election is, we've done what we said we would do, cutting your taxes, securing the border. They're taking all kinds of crazy positions. And if you elect them, we know what they're going to do. They're going to impeach the president a third time. And so let's go win this election. However these districts get drawn, we can still win if we go out and, I think, tell the American people what we just described.
Last one. I know how much the president loves you and Scalise. You're kind of his guys. And I'm nervous. I was fortunate that the president actually texted me back on Sunday morning. He said, "I'm okay, Sid." And Secret Service did a great job. But I'm really nervous that they're going to, eventually do what they are trying to do. This is a lunatic. This guy's going to run past all the Secret Service. But just talking about Bodito moments ago, maybe next time there's a bomb. Maybe next time there's 12 people. Are you, Jim Jordan, legitimately nervous for our president?
Well, yeah. I mean, this guy's amazing. I told him, I actually talked to him briefly last night. And I said, and I said this on Sunday, I said the poise, the composure that he displayed Saturday night in Butler, Pennsylvania. I mean, all the time that he's been under pressure and attacks and all the lies they've told about him. I mean, it's why I'm so glad he's our president. And very few human beings have the fortitude, the toughness, the perseverance, the what it takes to withstand all that. And I think that's what you want in the commander in chief, and you want in the president. And he's just a special person. I'm so glad he's our president. But I'm always, we're worried about him because, like we said, it's been 3 times that they've tried, and let's hope it doesn't happen again. God bless the Secret Service. I talked with the director, called and gave me a little briefing yesterday for our committee, and God bless Director Kern and what he's doing. But we want to make sure. President Trump has done things that I think no other president could get done, and we so appreciate him. And you want, like I said, you want someone who, if you think about sports, there are certain athletes, when it counts, under the pressure, don't get rattled. They know how to perform and get the job done, and you just see it. They want the ball at the end of the game. They know how to. They just know how to do it. And President Trump is that kind of individual.
Perfect analogy. He is special. And so are you. I mean that, Jim. I tell you that every time. You are not good. You're great. And we're very lucky to have you in Congress, my friend. Thank you so much.
Well, we're lucky to have you on the air. Thanks for all you do. Take care.
Thank you, Jim. Jim Jordan right there, the amazing congressman out of Ohio, taking time out of his busy morning to join us on this Tuesday here in New York City. My guy, Jim Jordan.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?